business plays a fundamental role. If we're going to keep 1.5 degrees alive, then business will be really important. We just issued, just before COP every year, we issue a report called the Net Zero Economy Index. That looks at where we are, and that says we have to reduce carbon intensity by 17% every year from now through to 2030. Now, sadly, since 2000 to 2022, we've only managed 1.4%, and last year it was only 2.5. So there's a huge challenge, and business plays a key role in that. What business needs to do is commit sector by sector, business by business, to how can they get to net zero, and most importantly have that backed up by science-based targets, which means we're actually going to fulfill those commitments.
What's derailing the world or countries?
So some of the big challenges, I think Dr. Sultan and the presidency have identified some of those areas that are holding us back, particularly around what we're doing on mitigation, what we're doing on adaptation, what we're doing around financing. I think specifically what we're trying to do here is to get more into renewables. So there's a commitment to try and go 3 times on renewables, 2 times on energy efficiency, and get some real finance flowing into this problem.
And finally, in terms of financing, it's quite a thorny one. I mean, after COVID-19, the war in Ukraine, now the conflict in the Middle East, countries are prioritizing such challenges, and developmental issues do take a backseat. How do we revive that spirit of ensuring that developmental issues don't take a backseat, as the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, has kind of made that call that time is not on our side?
Yeah, Sophie, maybe I can give a good example on your continent in West Africa. So we just issued last week a report on trying to get renewable energy into West Africa. Now in West Africa, you've got 220 million people without access to electricity, direct access to electricity. You've got the potential of 2,000 gigawatts worth of renewable energy in West Africa, combination of sun, wind and hydropower. What's the big challenge? We need to unlock something like $500 billion of investment, both in the actual renewables and in the grid system, to make that work. What's been quite interesting, we've been working with Masdar, one of the big sovereign wealth funds in this part of the world, and how can we play a role? They play a role in 2 ways. One, you need to get the regulation in place. I think Senegal is a good example of where the regulations are moving in the right way, in terms of tariffs, in terms of procurement. And then secondly, you need some catalytic finance. And obviously there's a big role for this part of the world to play in other parts of the world with sovereign wealth to try and put some of that catalytic finance in place to get things moving. But you're right, this is hard, difficult, challenging to do.